Hello and welcome everybody. I'm Matt Seddon, co-host of the Sunday podcast. I'm a running coach and an athlete myself. I'm here at the Sports Shoes HQ and we are going to build a shoe rotation, tell you what shoes you can maybe add to that rotation and how to go about building one. So first up, there's a few categories when it comes to a shoe rotation. The biggest one is probably the daily trainer. That's the one you're gonna wear the most, and definitely if you're starting out on your running journey, it is the most important. And as we go, you're just gonna add, or you can add more shoes to your rotation, the more running you do and the more serious you take it. The second category would be a speed shoe, your kind of session shoe that you do intervals in, and that has quite a large crossovers into your race shoe as well. So if you wanna get away with just buying one shoe for sessions and races, then that would be your next category. Your third category is your recovery shoe. So as you do more mileage, you want to give your daily trainer a rest, let the foam spring back up. It's going to help prevent injury. So you're going to want to invest in a recovery shoe that you can just wear, keep the pounding off your legs. And also it's going to be a bit more durable. It's going to help all your shoes last a little bit longer. And then finally is your race day shoe. What prime shoe do you want to wear on race day? It's going to make you feel good, that's snappy, and obviously that varies depending on what distance you're competing in. Some competing in a marathon may want a kind of spongier, higher stack height race day shoe, but then we can look at the difference between, a marathon race day shoe and a 5K, 10K race day shoe as well. First up, we're going to take a look at the daily trainer. We have selected 3 shoes that we think are, very credible. My personal favorite daily trainers out there at the moment. Obviously, other brands do offer great daily trainers. Asics, Nike Pegasus 40, to name a few as well. But first up, let's take a look at the New Balance 1080. They're on version 12, which I think says a lot anyway about how popular it is and how much people enjoy this shoe. For me, it gives a real nice fit. It's a sock-like fit. I think the one thing I've said, kind of in the preview is you want comfort in your daily trainer. It's probably the one you're going to get the most miles out of. Talk about mileage, you're probably looking at 300 to 500 miles out of one of these shoes. So it's just kind of which one is most durable. If you do a lot of kind of off-road running as well, I just think the sole, for me, I run on trail quite a lot, gravel paths, and it's just lasted such a long time. So, and of course, you've got that brilliant fresh foam that we've just kind of know and love as well. Next up, let's take a look at the Hoka Clifton 9. Hoka in general were the founders of the high stack height. They set the benchmark. So they've got brilliant foam, the longevity in this shoe. It's the upper limit for me, like how long it lasts. I've got 500 miles out of it. It's still kind of going strong, still feels good, even though I do look to replace my shoes every 500 miles or so. A few key features, I guess, obviously the high heel as well. Some people love it, some people don't. But other than that, it's very comfortable. It's got a breathable tongue as well. And it's just got a traditional upper. In contrast to the 1080, which is a very sock-like fit for a daily trainer, this is your kind of traditional kind of upper material on there as well. So that's your Hoka Clifton 9. Finally, let's have a look at our third and final shoe, the Saucony Ride 16. Super foam, it's a comfortable fit. They've actually managed to add more foam and less weight in this shoe than previous models as well. For me, it's probably best used on the road, and I just think that's down to the kind of foam sensation it gives. It's very springy. It's also really soft as well. And you get a little bit more bounce perhaps from a 1080 or a Clifton 9 here as well. So it's a great road shoe for me, especially, if you're in urban areas, this is the one to kind of go for. Other than that, it's just a sock-like fit, breathable upper as well. And you get very good kind of mileage out of this shoe as well. So as you might know already, all these shoes are neutral shoes, and obviously there are a massive variety of shoes out there, including structured models as well. If you do need a structured shoe, if you overpronate, that's your daily trainer in a nutshell. Now we're going to take a look at the session shoes out there, or your speed shoes that you're going to use for intervals. You've locked down your daily trainer, the one you know and love, and then you want to make additions to your shoe rotation. I would start with an interval shoe that you can perhaps cross over and wear on race day as well. So first up, let's look at the Hoka Mach X. Super stack height, which I think is super, super durable as well. This is a very exciting shoe. It's a new addition to the Hoka line. You've seen the Mach 1 to 5, and now they've come out with the Mach X, which is just very, very new, available now at Sports Shoes. Great grip on it. Again, these shoes though, I would say all 3 of them are probably designed and best responsive on road. And of course, that's what they're built for as well, so your session. So as long as you're sessioning on a good surface. It's got a P-Bax plate in it, which is the biggest difference. It really kind of does rock you forward. You want to run fast in this shoe. It's not one you want to wear every day. You kind of want to do your sessions in it, your steady runs, but then you want to kind of let that foam spring back up, get back in your daily trainer on those kind of easy days and recovery days as well. Perfect for, you know, tempo work, intervals, and race day. Next up, we'll take a look at the Asics Novablast 3. Personally, this is one of my absolute faves. I wear this shoe all the time. I've had numerous versions of it as well. I think the highlight for me is that you can wear it on, you know, canal paths and stuff like that, as well as road. And I think just because it's got quite a bit of flexion in the shoe, it can kind of mold to the terrain you're on. One big difference between the shoes that we got here today, this does not have a plate-in of any form. So it is just all foam, I think. So it's probably not quite as aggressive as the other two, but still brilliant because just the way Asics can, you know, that FF Blast foam they've got in there is just so responsive as well. So superb for kind of your steady runs, tempos, and your race day, longer races, your halves and your marathons as well. Finally, let's take a look at the very exciting and anticipated SC trainer out there. We actually kind of put this shoe through its pace as well, tested it out. Biggest change, it's now legal, okay? This shoe used to be the V1. For those of you who are kind of sitting there, what do you mean it was illegal before? Version 1 was illegal in the sense that the stack height was too big. So there is a limit if you're an elite athlete on the stack height you can have. That's the biggest change. And I think, you know, they did that because it's such a great session shoe and it'd be a shame to miss out, you know, using this shoe in sessions and not being able to wear it on race day. And I think when we're looking at, you know, a 2 shoe rotation, this is kind of, you know, perfect for that because, you know, you've got your daily trainer, you add this, you can do all your sessions in it, and then obviously now wear it on race day as well. Obviously, it's got a beautiful carbon plate in as well. Super foam, very, very comfortable up top as well. I think best though for me, suited to roads. So if you are wearing this shoe, I would just recommend stick it to the roads. That's where it really comes into its own, and especially on those longer runs as well out there. So just quickly before we move on, let us know your favorite shoe in the comments. We'd love to hear it, okay? Next up, we're gonna take a look at the recovery shoes out there. It's the 3rd shoe you can add to your shoe rotation. You've got your daily trainer, you've got your session shoe down, and now you're doing a little bit more mileage. You probably need a recovery shoe. Let's just start by explaining why you need a recovery shoe because, you know, you've got your daily trainer, you've got your session shoe, you might think that's all you need, but if you are doing a little bit more mileage, you need to let that daily trainer almost recover a little bit. You also need to let your legs recover physically. So you want something with a good bit of cushioning, especially if you're running on the roads a lot. So we're looking for kind of, you'll see these shoes will all have quite a high stack height, quite a lot of cushioning as well, and they're best suited, you know, the day after those long sessions, those really hard, intense sessions you do where your muscles are beat up. You want to get these shoes on feet and just jog around. Also, they're great to use actually on session day for warm-ups and cool-downs as well. Just kind of looking after your muscles and your legs either side of the warm-up and cool-down. Okay, so first up, let's take a look at the Nike Invincible 3. I've just got a comment on the colorway personally because I absolutely love this colorway. I haven't really seen it before, especially not on too many feet out there, so available at sports shoes as well. We know the 2s, you know, were super, super popular, and this has become one of the most popular recovery shoes out there. And there is quite a lot of crossover between recovery shoes and daily trainers as well. So, and I think that probably applies to the Invincible because it is quite poppy still. So you can get away probably wearing this as a daily trainer as well. But yeah, things to note about it, you know, it's got quite a high, you know, heel to toe drop on it. But other than that, it's probably the most responsive on the market. Okay, next up, let's take a look at the Brooks Glycerin 20. Fun fact, Brooks are actually official partners with Parkrun as well. So I think that says a lot about the brand. You may see a lot of them on feet at your local park run. Biggest thing for me though is the nitrogen infused midsole. Just provides a lot of pop. Even again, I said to the Invincible's got quite good pop for a recovery shoe. This as well. So both of those nice and soft, but give you a little bit back on your ride as well. I think the outsole, really grippy, super durable. I've put a lot of miles in these myself, so it can last actually canal paths on trail and obviously in your urban kind of road areas as well. So there is a lot to love about the Glycerin 20. And finally, let's take a quick look at the Asics Gel-Nimbus 25. And you know, quite a lot of changes. If you're a Gel-Nimbus fan, you would have seen the 24. This was a big change coming through. One of the biggest would be the heel, super, super comfortable. So if you've had any sort of Achilles injuries or anything in the past, it's got, you know, almost like pillows to kind of hug your Achilles there as well. Asics do a great job at comfort. This has a mammoth stack height on it. It's got gel in, it's got the FF Blast foam as well. It's just a super, super comfortable ride. And I do think actually best suited to your kind of road loops as well, your road surfaces. So if you do live in quite a built up area, this is the shoe for you, especially on those recovery days. You'll really notice a difference to your kind of legs. So that kind of summarizes the 3 recovery shoes we've got on the market. Now, finally, let's go and take a look at perhaps the most exciting one, the race day shoes on the market. Okay, finally, category 4, and that is your race day shoe. We're getting to the pointy end of the shoe rotation, and perhaps the last shoe to add to your rotation. We've gone through the daily trainer, the session shoes, which can cross over to a race shoe as well, especially if you're starting out in your running journey. We've looked at recovery shoes as well when that mileage is adding up, and now we're gonna focus on your race shoes out there. Well, what a better place to start than your Nike Vaporfly Next Percent 3s. And I think, boy, this has just been such a popular shoe. For me, the real difference between race shoes and your kind of session shoes as well is just the upper. Like, it is just highly breathable, very, very thin. Due to that, perhaps, you know, they probably don't last as long. They're not made to last as long, and that's why you want to save them for those real kind of key races in your calendar as well. And we're going to look at, you know, this is the beginning of, you know, the carbon plate as well. So, of course, this Nike Next Percent 3 has a brilliant carbon plating as well. A high stack height. They've increased their stack height a lot from the Next Percent 2s. So they've kind of made it, I think, a little bit more durable out there as well. And I think the sole expresses that with a little bit more grip for me as well. So that's your Next Percent 3. Okay, next up, let's take a look at the Adidas Adizero Adios Pro 3. A terrific shoe, one of the highest stack heights out of all the race shoes. Of course, this shoe is still legal. The biggest change for me when you compare it to others as well, and they all have slight differences in where they choose to put that carbon plate and how they put that carbon plate into the shoe. Adidas actually use the rod format, I guess, which spreads itself across the forefoot, much like your toes as well. And I think just gives a great response to the road out there as well. Obviously, they've still got the Continental grip on the bottom of the shoe as well, which we've become to know and love with the Adidas racing range as well. Okay, next up, we'll have a look at the Asics Metaspeed Sky Plus. There's obviously the Edge range out there as well, which is just a slightly, you know, smaller stack height. This shoe we've come to know and love. It's a brilliant shoe. The upper, I've got to say, is ridiculously light, fits super comfortable. They have the ridge laces as well, so you can get a really, really snug fit. The FF Turbo Blast foam in here, and a great kind of forefoot carbon plate as well as kind of great grip on there as well. And this one, I think with all these brands, it is a race, it is a competition who can provide the best shoe out there, and Asics have really kind of put themselves on the map. Okay, now time to take a look at the eagerly anticipated Cloudboom Echo 3 out there. I think the biggest change for me is the carbon plate from toe to heel as well. And they don't hide that as well. You can actually see it on the outside of the shoe there. And I think it's a very aggressive shoe. It really propels you forward. It's also fast. I love the sole on it as well. That's my personal opinion. I think it just hugs the track and grips the track really nice, as well as the road surfaces out there. But I think that's credit to On. You know, they actually work with their athletes at the highest level in the product design to really get a shoe that they love first, and then the consumers like us can enjoy a shoe that we know all the best athletes in the world are wearing. So that summarizes your kind of race shoes out there. And of course, these are the exciting ones, if you like, the ones you want to save to a race day. And I think there's no hiding the fact that the mileage you get out of this shoe, I think On have said you're looking at 100 to 200 miles in this shoe. So it's not a super mileage shoe, and you don't want to buy it for that purpose. You want to save it for race day and perhaps those really key sessions that you want to get out there and hit as well. Okay, then now just to finish up, I hope that you've benefited from this video, and if you are looking to take your running further, why you can think about adding to your shoe rotation and just drifting away from that one daily trainer that you've probably just been wearing, okay? If you do enjoy this video, like and subscribe for a lot more content like it.